Hello everybody, have I got a really nice challenge for you this time. I have a lot to show you, and before I do that and explain what this is, I want to emphasize that I am not working for Storycubes. I don't have shares, anything. This is just my collection, and I want to share it with you because I sometimes use it for inspiration for my art journaling, and or sometimes I use it for inspiration for just some sketchbook doodles, and well, just to get into motion basically. So what is Storycubes? Well, I've got quite a few sets of them, and I'll start with the basic set and I'll show you the rest. Basically, it's a set of dice, and on every dice are 6 pictograms or 6 symbols, and the idea is that you can use these dice to tell a story. And I sometimes use them with my children as a game. We sit at the table, we toss the dice, and then we start telling stories, which can be pretty you know, random stories. But let's start. I hope you can see it, but I don't want to zoom in any further, because if I do, we might not get a really good view of this. Let's start. One night I stayed in a castle, and I was fast asleep when all of a sudden I heard something, and there was, when I looked out of the window, I saw a flash of light, you know, shooting star, and in the light of that I saw a parachutist coming down. And well, I didn't think much of it until I heard footsteps, and I thought, oh no, God, what is this? And not only did I hear footsteps, but I think I heard a walking stick too. And I couldn't quite figure out what it was until there was a knocking on my door, and there was this old lady with apples in a bag, and she said, "Do you want to have an apple?" And I didn't quite trust her. I mean, I was sleeping in a castle after all, and it was midnight, so what's an old lady doing in a castle at midnight offering me an apple? And I couldn't help but think of fairy tales, and I thought that sometimes the old ladies are the witches with poisoned apples. So I said, you know what, let's just throw the dice about it. If I throw a 6, I'll have the apple. And fortunately, I threw only a 1. So I didn't have to eat the apple, the lady went away, and I went to bed and had a really good night's rest. So that's how we use them, and that's how I use them with my children, and it's really fun because these dice make you think of different things than what you would normally think of. And you know, usually it's just, you know, it's just rubbish. Or rubbish is not a good word, but you know, it's but sometimes you can use the same dice to tell a very a profound story about yourself, because sometimes the stories that you tell have a lot of yourself in them sometimes. Not always, but sometimes they do. Anyway, they're really good for training, you know, visualizations and association. So this is a really advanced way of associating games. What's also, I have used an apple as an apple, but it could be a big apple and then it could be New York. It could also be a plum, I mean. A dice could be a dice, but it could also be about gambling, or it could be about the number that's on it, which is 9. You can explain every little symbol the way you want them. This can also be a big smile. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a moon or represent midnight. The sleeping icon could also just be something very boring, and you know, a castle could be a castle, it can be a chess piece, it can be something old and antique. Whatever you want, you can go always with this. So what's really funny about this, I bought these a long time ago, and they still look very good in this box because I took really good care of them, because they are, I think, a very precious You know, I don't care very much for stuff, but this I care about. So these are the Storycubes that originally started. I don't know how long, but I think I've had this for, well, at least 7 or 8 years. Or maybe longer. No, I think 7 or 8 years, maybe longer. And afterwards they came up with other sets. So the first other sets I bought is an action set, which you can combine them with the basic set. Sorry, I have to open them again so that I can show you what I mean. You know, the basic set is printed with black, and then there's an action set that's printed with blue. So, and all of these dies represent a certain activity or an event. And again, you can explain these activities and events any way you like. There is a voyage set, voyages set, that will help you tell stories about travels, about voyages, which can again be explained literally, but you can also take them, you know, as a metaphor for anything. So, and these are printed with a dark green ink, so you can always, when you toss them all together in a big bag and you throw them out on a table, or you know, then you can always trace them back to their original box. Then they issued a couple of very small sets, which are Enchanted, so fairy tales galore, Prehistoria and Clues. And well, the clues are pretty much like detectives, like, well, Sherlock Holmes detectives. It's ancient icons here, printed with dark purple. Then there is the Prehistoria, printed with a brighter green. So if you're interested in prehistoric themes, you know, it would be especially nice for kids. And then there is the Enchanted, which I use quite a lot because when you, especially when working in an art journal, the Enchanted area to me, it just evokes a lot of stories and fairy tales. And last but not least, this is a really funny set. This is a Scooby-Doo set. I'm not kidding, and it's got this sort of pink print. It's a Scooby-Doo set, and when I was a child, you know, here's Shaggy. When I was a child, I was really fond of Scooby-Doo, the series, and it was when I ran into this, I couldn't leave it in the store, so I bought it. And of course, this is about fear and about being a hero when you're really very scared, and about monsters and about mysteries. And so you can chuck all of these dice together if you like, and you know, play a little association game. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the Enchanted and the basic set. And here comes the challenge for you. I'm going to toss these dice again. And there is a little plastic container here that I want to get out. They're a little snug in there, so you sometimes have to take a little trouble to get them out. Okay, so we mix them all together, and what I'm going to do, the first time I showed you how to work with this, I showed you a quite literal way of working with it. But now I am showing you a way to use this for your art journaling. Like I said, very often when you start telling stories, they are about you as well. So I was telling a story about how I was sleeping at night and I woke up and a light flashed and I saw a parachutist land, and then I thought I heard some footsteps and this lady knocking on my door. Well, in reality, because of the heat right now, I've had really bad nights, and I've actually been lying awake because I thought I was hearing things. So you know, the story was basically a little bit about myself as well, although I didn't really expand on it. And that's what we're going to do this time. So I am going to give you this set of dice. and I'll make a photograph of it later. And what I want you to do is, you know, you can print the photograph, cut out the symbols, and put them in an order that would work for you. And then first try to make up a couple of stories with them, and then later on, you know, make an art journal page about yourself with these symbols in mind. So think of an art journal story about yourself. So I'll explain. First we have a little bee, a bumblebee or a wasp or a little insect or a little animal, a flying animal. Then we have a scarab. Is it called a scarab? A bug? But this could also be a geocaching travel bug symbol. So that's the first thing it reminds me of. Then there is the shooting star. That could also represent garlands for a party, or Christmas, or night, or it makes me think of Like a Virgin by Madonna. It could make you think of bling. Then there is a clock, but that could also represent time or the lack thereof, or the wish not to have it. It could point out 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or you know, 10:30 or 9 in the evening. There is a little frog here, or a toad, but that could be a prince. I mean, kiss it, and before you know it, you have a prince or a princess standing right in front of you. Or maybe you feel like a toad when you wake up in the morning. Sometimes it happens, right? Then we just find ourselves quacking in front of the mirror. Then there is an arrow, and an arrow would indicate direction, a sense of direction, or maybe it would indicate searching. You're searching for signs, for clues where to go. So this, you know, symbols like arrows and time can be very, very important in art journaling, because it's always about a time in our life, and it's always about a direction we're heading or a direction we're searching. Art journaling is very often about our search to get something that we so desperately desire or need. There is a keyhole, which is of course very black and dark and mysterious. So, well, maybe you have a big, maybe something in your life is a tremendously present keyhole, but you're still searching for the key to finally open the chest or the door to something that you're looking for. Or maybe this keyhole is very black because you put some gummy into it, painted it black, because you never ever ever want to open that door again, and maybe you tossed aside the key to never ever find it again. So, you know, a keyhole can represent so many things. You know, it can represent things you're hiding, things you're walking away from, or things you're dying to get into. Then there is a little crib, and a crib could represent a baby. It could represent something biblical. It could represent, you know, something that's in the crib it has been born, but it needs to grow. So it can also be, you know, an idea. Let's say you have an idea for a big plan. You want to make a big move. You want to go to a big house or something. You know, it can be your little baby. The plan can be a baby, and it can, you know, you take care of it and you nurture it very well because it's a lovely plan. So then there is footsteps. Oh my God, it can be scary. It could be the Yeti. It could also be, you know, your own footsteps you're walking back into. You know, you're tracing your footsteps back to old days. It can be, you know, wanting to be in the footsteps of somebody else, or wanting to avoid being in the footsteps. It can also be that you have a feeling somebody's lurking around you, and you can see footsteps, but you never ever see that person. It can be about so many things. There is, what do you call this? A well. Well, of course, I mean, it's hot right now in Western Europe. I mean, we are experiencing, I believe, the first heat wave of the year. So, you know, what if there is a drought and, you know, there is no water in the well? What if this is your source of inspiration, or the source of power, or the source of love? And what if it's empty? What if it's just totally dried out? I mean, then we are getting a really interesting story here. Or what if it's so full that it's about to overflow? Or what if you are desperately looking for the way to the well, which is behind this keyhole, and you don't have a key? All you have is a clock or a watch, and you have a couple of animals that you don't know how they can help you, or scarabs or mysterious creatures. Maybe he swallowed the key. There is a pyramid. Maybe you have to enter the pyramid, the dark hallways of the pyramid, to find the key in the center of the pyramid. But you have to make sure you don't get killed by the poisonous gases in there, or by the scorpions. And oh God, did you forget to bring your flashlight? Oh boy. You know, it's things like that. This is about associating your own, all these symbols with your own story. And, you know, it's about being able to see your life, to see these symbols and the story as a metaphor for your life and whatever you would like to express about it. So how do you go about it? I just told you all the symbols we have in here. And, well, you can do a couple of things. You can force yourself to use them all. You can also say there is a couple of them that really, really appeal to me. I really like the idea of darkness and of searching for something, and a pyramid, because a pyramid holds something very mysterious, and a scarab, because a scarab is a very, very interesting animal in mythology. I do have a problem with my well of inspiration. My source of inspiration sort of evaporates with this weather, which is why I thought of this challenge, because this really is a challenge for me as well. I also like the toad, because the toad, it can be a prince when you kiss it, and it could be in the well. It could be that if I dare face my dried out well, that at the bottom I find this prince of inspiration, and when I kiss it, all of the inspiration is coming back. Let's see. Well, I always feel very pressed for time. I'm always in a hurry. That's just a little, you know, personal flaw of mine. I'm always sort of, you know, like, oh God, there's so much I want to do in this life, so I've got to run. Got to do it right now. So I'm searching for something, and I run into a mysterious scarab, but I don't know what it's doing in my life, and then I know I have to enter the pyramid. But, you know, I see all of these I see this labyrinth in there of hallways that I have to just walk through, and I'm really, really scared. And it's really, really dark. It's getting dark. I'm in a hurry because I'm a little bit scared. I want to get out of there as quickly as I can. I don't like being in the dark and in the depth. And then I notice that there is a door, and for some reason I know I have to find that door. But I can't open it. It's locked, so I have to go and find the key. So I just, you know, switch on the flashlight. And right in front of me, I notice there are footsteps leading somewhere. And when I get into this room inside the pyramid, I find a well. And the well, I just know it contains the answers, and the well holds a toad. So I get the toad out of the well. And I try to kiss it, and when I kiss it there is a flash of light, and the flash of light is insight into what I want, and I find new inspiration that I have to nurture like a baby. And I am looking for all kinds of means to fertilize my idea, which is what bees do, of course. They fertilize flowers. So I'm hoping for quite a lot of fertilizers. And I have to be honest with you that sometimes I do feel like I can't find my inspiration. So this story I've just been telling it really is about my struggle with inspiration, and also that I have been so focused on finding the key to this door, the locked door, that I never expected to find a solution for my problem in the well. Because at the end of my story, of my journey, I realized that I don't need this key at all. Because my journey in this pyramid, in the darkness of my own resistance or my own lack of inspiration, I ran into the well and the toad that turned out to be a flash of inspiration when I kissed it. And all I have to do is to nurture my inspiration and to surround myself with bees to fertilize my plans, my dreams. So, having said that, I'm going to leave you to puzzle with this, with these cubes. I'm going to give you the exact same cubes, and I'm going to invite you to make your own story with it, to make a story about yourself with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be true or completely right, but everything you say about yourself is true for some part. So I'm going to photograph these for myself and make a journal page, and I'm going to photograph these for you. I'm going to make a big photo of it so you can print it out, you can cut them out, and you can just, you know, shove around your symbols to give this a little try and make this work for you. So, your challenge for this month is puzzle your own story and make yourself an art journal page according to that story. Right, thank you for watching, and I'm looking very much forward to your work, and I give you until the 15th of July, which is almost a month. 15th of July, I'm going to draw a winner, and the winner will get a nice pack of painted paper, ancient paper by me, and some beautiful painted map paper. So I'll post some yummilicious pictures of that in the group really soon, so that you'll be a little bit more motivated to make some really pretty art journal pages. So I want to see art journal pages. I want you to use these cubes to make your own story, and I'll see you back. I'll first post my own page, and I'll see you back at the 15th of July. See you then. Bye.